From the studios of Books in Motion, this is Damon Abdallah reading Cozy Up to Danger, Book 6 in the Cozy Up series by Colin Conway. Now, let's begin with Chapter 1. When the store's electronic bell warbled, Ned Delahanty looked up from behind the counter where he stood counting cigarettes. The customer who entered the Quick and Go brought along a blast of cold air. The man didn't bother to shut the door behind him, and a gust of snow blew in. The customer was in his early 30s and had the self-important look of someone who grew up wealthy. His eyes carried too much confidence for a face filled with flaccid features. He wasn't fat, but his pale skin hung loosely from his cheeks, and his bulbous nose drooped as if from its own weight. Next to Ned, an orange cat shifted its resting place on a nearby chair. He must have sensed the sudden entrance of cold air, because his ears pulled back and he tucked his head under Ned's red winter coat, which rested over the back of the chair. "Evening," Ned said without breaking his count. 32, 33, 34. The customer smirked as his gaze swept over the convenience store. He wore a blue winter coat, lighter blue snow pants, and a red knitted hat with a ridiculous fuzzy ball on top. Thick blue gloves covered his hands. Advertisements for cigarettes, beer, and sodas littered the building's large glass windows. All that visual clutter didn't stop Ned from seeing the green Land Rover Defender parked near the front of the building. Its headlights blazed against the advertising clutter. 2 pairs of snow skis were attached to its roof rack. A woman sat in the passenger seat with her head bowed as if she might be reading something. She wore a tan knit hat with a fuzzy ball on top. The customer aggressively stamped the snow from his boots onto the front mat. The company's bright orange and blue logo was mostly worn off from years of shuffling and stomping feet, and now the only thing left was a muddy Q-Go. The gas station's illuminated pylon sign was barely discernible at the edge of the parking lot, and heavy snowfall obscured the company's logo. The lower sign announced, "Available bungalows for rent, cheap," but wholly unreadable from the store. There were 5 units in the back, and Ned lived in one. The other 4 hadn't rented since he started working there. That no longer surprised him, since the units weren't visible from the highway. With a ski resort 45 minutes north and another an hour beyond that, folks simply drove by to the nicer accommodations. When the customer finished clearing the snow from his boots, he studied Ned. He slipped off his gloves and jerked his head toward the front windows. "You should clear the sidewalk. It's treacherous." Ned finished his tally, jotted the number onto a nearby notepad, and leaned on to the counter. "The snow's coming down something fierce." The customer motioned toward the window again. "Look at that." Great White's Once Bitten played through a pair of tinny speakers mounted at opposite ends of the shop. Ned knew the song intimately from its repeated playing on this radio station. The customer indignantly brushed the snow away from his shoulders. The powder fell beyond the mat to the store's linoleum floor. "Hey, bud, did you hear me? You deaf or something?" The man scrunched his face and looked toward the speakers. "What's with this old fogey music?" "Is there something you're looking for?" Ned put the cigarettes under the counter. The customer rolled his eyes as he approached. The soles of his boots squeaked with each step. "Did you hear what I said about the sidewalk?" Ned stood on his tiptoes and looked outside. The snow was accumulating fast. It appeared there might be close to more than 6 inches on the sidewalk now. He dropped to his regular height. "It can wait." The man's eyes widened. "That's a blizzard out there, and you've got paying customers showing up." He tapped his chest. "You saw me slip, right?" Ned shook his head. "You didn't slip." "I almost did." "But you didn't." "I could have." Ned raised his eyebrows. The customer pointed outside. "Didn't anyone teach you about limiting potential risk hazards?" "No." Ned motioned toward the shovel near the front door. "Help yourself." The customer eyed the yellow plastic tool, then pulled back in mock horror. "Me?" "If it bothers you so much." "But it's not my job."
"So?"
"So?" The man's voice rose dramatically. "So?" Now he tapped his chest with both hands. "I'm the customer."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?